So I started a 90-day challenge to grow my business, but what I never expected was that all the data and information that I had been tracking through doing that 90-day challenge for my business actually helped me get diagnosed with premenstrual dysphoric disorder and led to a life-changing series of events which resulted in me having a hysterectomy and completely changing my entire life. So basically a 90-day challenge is where you track the things that you're doing in your business to figure out what is actually resulting in the most leads and inquiries. Well, anyway, that's not important. But what it is I started to realize there was a certain week every single month that I just seemed to make no money, right? I just made no money. My tracking on my Stripe accounts, all that type of stuff was just like zero, fucking dusty as fuck. I wouldn't make any money, and then I would spiral and I would hate myself and be like, why am I so bad at this? I should just quit. I should throw everything away. I should just start from over scratch. I'm an awful human being. I'm shit at everything. And the spiral would just continue. And then I would notice, like, when I looked at my accounts the next week after that, I'd be like, okay, cool. I made like $6,000, right? So I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, why am I so bad? Is it an energy thing? Is it a strategy thing? Is it a mindset thing? I feel in that period when I'm not making money, I feel so uninspired, uncreative. Like I just couldn't seem to get my life together during those periods, but I didn't realize there was a pattern until I looked back over the data of my 90-day plan. That's my dog in the background. She's being insane. Shelby, what are you doing? Anyway, I hadn't put two and two together with the data until my husband was like, do we maybe think this might have something to do with your that time of the month? And I was like, don't be ridiculous. It's not happening when I have it's not happening then. That's different. That's another time. I have no problem on that week. Look, I'm still making lots of money on that week. Now, PCOS, so it's not always predictable and trackable, but I could tell for sure that it wasn't because of my period. Because that particular week when I was still able to make money. I was still creative. I didn't completely hate myself, even though I was going through that typical cycle. But after he said that, I went back and I looked at the data that I had. I looked at like the last 90 days of my business. And then because I've been doing 90-day plans for a while, I looked at the 3 ones previously to that. So in the end, I had 9 months worth of data, and I could see very, very clearly that about 5 to 7 days before my period, I would hit these zeros in my bank account. I didn't make money on those weeks. I really struggled to put out content. I was exhausted. I was miserable. My mood was like dramatically down. All that stuff was kind of happening 7 to 10 days before, right? So she did a little bit of Googling, and I discovered that it's very, very obvious at that point that I had premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Now, PMDD is very, very hard to get diagnosed with because it is still super new, the research that is happening. However, I was able to go, okay, well, like, I'm pretty sure I have some issues, right? Take all the data and information to my doctor and say, I already have PCOS. This is what's happening. I'm experiencing these very, very severe symptoms. Like my mental health is crashing and burning for a couple of days. I'm putting on nearly 13 kilos in that week in just water weight and fluid. I'm breaking out. I'm miserable. My business isn't growing. I'm so depressed, All the bad thoughts. I don't want to get like banned on here by saying all this stuff. The symptoms were really, really severe. And I was like, look, here is 9 months of data. And I'm like, ignore all the business data in that. Ignore which TikToks went viral and when that happened. And just look at the peaks and the troughs, because it was a very, very clear pattern. And the minute my doctor was able to look at that, she looked at my PCOS history and stuff and went, oh yeah, we're probably looking at PMDD here. Here's what it is. Here's the information. Here's what we can do to move forward. And then about a year later, I was diagnosed with ADHD officially, and peer review diagnosed with autism. And it makes so much sense because I think the latest stat was 97% of women with autism will end up with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and the ADHD definitely kicks in the PMDD. So it was super, super obvious after I put all the dots together, but I never would have made the connection if I didn't spend the time to actually create 90-day challenges for my business, track my profits, try and figure out what was working and what wasn't. I would not have had the data to go to my doctor and be like, boom, on the table, here it is, here's what is going on, please help me find an answer to it. So Yes, 90-day plans are amazing for growing your business. It will build so much consistency and momentum, but you will be surprised what else it actually brings to light in your business, in your life, in your health as well. So there's a little bit of my story time and behind the scenes. It's crazy bitch, neurodivergent with raging premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is very, very different to PMS. So yeah,